Welcome to The Current by TreasureCoast.com, where we discuss interesting people, places, and happenings on Florida's Treasure Coast.
Baldy, thanks again for being on, man. I'm happy to have you. I'm really pumped to talk
My
to you.
pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me back. I am excited. I love what you do. Obviously, you guys are doing it real big in the community. And honestly, I'm honored to be back, man.
And likewise, it was such a fun conversation, and a lot of people had watched it, especially we were talking about some of the shorts and some
Yeah.
people's responses to the different things. You know, we kind of riffed, so, talking about different wings, pizza, this, that. And it was kind of cool to see the community's response to a lot of
Yeah.
the conversations, because I think that's an important thing to what you're doing. It's kind of it is putting a lot of different businesses in people's minds, not just the ones that you're covering.
Yeah.
You might say, "Hey, look, this is where I'm at," or "Hey, this is what I'm reviewing today," and then people are chiming in and saying, "Hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that?" And I think that's really cool. I think it's a cool part of the conversation.
Absolutely. I had a ton of fun. I know the one very controversial thing that was aggregated was about my top rated pizza place. And we could start out, yes, top rated pizza place in the Treasure Coast is still Uncle Giuseppe's Little Bit of Brooklyn in Stewart. So, yes.
So that's your. So do you have like do you know what your top 3 or 5 are?
You know what's funny, and this is going to be a little bit crazy. I do so many reviews that I do actually have to go and research my own stuff sometimes. But yes, generally speaking, pizza is that universal fun thing that I do that is super controversial. But
Yeah,
generally, yes. Are you ready?
without a doubt. Yeah, without a
Okay.
doubt.
You didn't really ask, but I'm going to give it to you. Okay.
I'll get my notepad
I
out.
would say I would say this when I do a review, some of it like almost sticks in my brain like when you're a little kid and you have a monumental moment, it's like you just get that little thing. So,
Yeah,
number 1 rated, it is still Uncle Giuseppe's. Now, what's funny is I'm planning on eventually doing a series where we revisit a lot of the places because you got to remember my pizza review and my food review is really based on usually a one-off one-time experience. It could have been a different pizza guy. It could have been they could have been having an off day. Maybe they've improved their stuff. But
yeah,
generally speaking, a couple of the ones that I remember, and I usually kind of break it down by county. So I love, I'm going to go by county, and people can put it in whatever order they want. The number 1 highest rated one that I've done is Uncle Giuseppe's, which is in Stewart. Then a place that I love, and I know it is a fan favorite, also in Stewart, I believe, is Brooklyn Joe's.
hmm.
I have them rated high. Have you ever tried Brooklyn Joe's?
I've tried Brooklyn Joe's, but to be
Yeah.
very honest, they haven't really been on my radar. There was a few that I was
Brooklyn
gonna that
Joe's
I
is
thought were gonna come
fine.
out before you said that. So that's interesting. I'm gonna have to try them out again soon.
Yes, I reviewed them a few months back. I thought they were really good. And when I try pizza, because I'm originally from Brooklyn, but I moved to Florida when I was a little kid. So now you can say I'm a Floridian because I was brought up down south, South Florida my whole life. But I
Right.
still kind of just always have that New York style pizza vibe that I kind of always keep with me. But when I tried Brooklyn Joe's, and I'm sure a lot of the people that'll comment can mention it, they're straight from Brooklyn, and I really got that real New York thin crust, a little bit oily, which I don't mind. But yeah, Brooklyn Joe's is right there. Now, going to St. Lucie, St. Lucie is still up and coming, in my opinion, on a lot of the pizza spots. I believe that
Sure.
I have the highest rated, I believe, is a place called Francesca's Pizza in
Hmm.
Port St. Lucie. And Francesca's was on that show on the Food Network called Best Bite in Town. And they were
Yeah.
up, I think, won third place in the Treasure Coast. And by the way, I think Catch a Fire won second, if I'm remembering correctly. Either
Okay.
or. But Francesca's, a lot of people give them a little bit of hate, but this guy's a master at pizza, in my opinion. And I think I have them rated, it might be rated at an 8.5 or an 8.6. So
Oh
that's right
wow.
up
So
there.
they're up there.
They're up there. Now, there's a brand new spot that just opened. You might know him. Shout out to my boy Carlos, who owns Cafe 772. Are you
Oh, okay.
familiar?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Cafe
Cafe,
772.
they have about 3 locations of Cafe 772, and he just opened up a pizza spot called D'Angelo's in Port St. Lucie. I did the
Nice.
grand opening, and he worked on the creation of the fermentation process and the pizza dough and everything. What he told me, for about a year, trying to perfect the craft with some pizza people. And to me, D'Angelo's, obviously it's tough because you got to have the right pizza guy doing it. But I think D'Angelo's is one of those up and coming spots. But yeah, that's kind of it. I would say those four. And listen, you might know, you might not know, but Massimo's in Port St. Lucie is also one of the pizza places that everybody mentions as either number one or number two in Port St. Lucie. And I have them very high on my list as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think that's interesting because that's another thing that people commented on with that particular
Yeah.
clip about a little bit of Brooklyn was, or Uncle Giuseppe's was, the New York pizza compared to different styles in Chicago. I mean, some people, that's the thing. If you like Chicago style, which we actually eat a lot at, I think I mentioned we eat a lot at Ian and Kai's, and they're opening one in downtown Stewart, which
Oh,
it's just a
yeah,
different
yeah.
style. I mean, you're gonna have different feelings about the style of pizza that you're eating. I got to tell you, while we're talking about pizza, I've got to,
Yeah.
maybe pour some of my drink out for Pizza Hut that went out of business there in Port St. Lucie, because we used to go there.
Oh,
I mean, that was the birthday spot. We always used to joke
yeah.
around like, oh yeah, we'll go there for another birthday, and have the red drink cups,
Yeah.
and yeah, they're gone now. So who knows? Not that
I
they would have
remember
made the
that.
top, but
I
it would
remember.
have been nostalgic.
You know what? That old dining experience, going inside, um, getting the book it, I think it was called, where you read the
Right,
books and you get the free pizza
right,
and the
right, right.
red cups, absolutely. I
Yeah.
remember them when I was a kid. Like going to Pizza Hut, it was such a fun experience. Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you think of for tacos? I mean, I don't want to change the subject so quickly, but I thought about I almost texted you actually after our last
Yeah.
podcast, because I was actually
Yeah.
interested in I think we talked about it even before. We were just kind of like, going back and forth, and I'm
Yeah.
interested to think that kind of tacos, fajitas, that kind of flavor, what are some of the spots that you've been most impressed by?
Oh, that is a tough one.
I know.
I
I
would
can
say
imagine.
that I would say that in the category of controversy, there's probably pizza and then there's tacos.
Yeah.
Now, tacos is a little bit more widespread, and I'm still in the process of doing a better job of really venturing to more taco spots. But the crowd favorites and my favorite, in my opinion, because they do such a fusion of flavors, and when they get it right, they're right. My favorite is Cafe 772. I love
Okay.
Cafe 772. Just the ingenuity and the process and some of the uniqueness and some of the stuff. In my opinion, the heart and soul that Carlos puts into his stuff at Cafe 772 to create some of what he does is incredible. Now, there's a new spot in Port St. Lucie that just opened. It's called Tacos Ponchos, and I had a birria taco there that was phenomenal. And a lot
Really?
of
Oh, I
people
saw
are
your video of it.
saying,
Yeah, I saw your video on that.
yeah, that
Huh.
one went viral. And what a lot of people are saying is that their birria may have finally topped my boys. However, Cafe 772 has been doing it for so many years. You got to give them respect for what they've been able to do in the community and in the Treasure Coast. But so many people give me suggestions, and I haven't scratched the surface. Now, there's one place called Tavos Tacos. Tavos Tacos is a food truck, and he usually does it in Fort Pierce and Vero. He kind of
Hmm.
moves around and does some different stuff. If you ever get a chance to try Tavos, in my opinion, Tavos Tacos is also a must try.
Where did you say they're set up at?
They move around. They go from
Okay.
Fort Pierce, I believe, Vero, and back and forth. But they
Write it
do a
down.
lot in Fort Pierce. Tavos, Tavos Tacos. This guy is a culinary genius as well. But as far as storefronts, there's nothing like going to Cafe 772, especially if you can catch Carlos still cooking up. He uses, I believe he uses the ribeye, like
Oh,
real
nice.
big steaks of ribeye for all the steak tacos and stuff. I mean, it's phenomenal. But Tacos Ponchos has been really a lot of people. That's a fan favorite, and then definitely Tavos Tacos. So
What are your thoughts on places that
absolutely,
are what are your thoughts on places that are, I think we even discussed this before, that are kind of up and coming? And
yeah,
I asked this because I was driving through Palm City today, which Palm City's kind of looked at more of a
yeah.
suburban outcropping
Uh,
of Stewart. You know, it's not really always looked at as like this hub for a lot, unless people are living there. But
it's not
they've
right.
got they had Lenora's just come in, Papi Chulo's is going in there,
Ooh,
and so I'm
ooh,
interested to hear like what your thoughts are as
okay.
far as like places that you think are looking like they're kind of on the come up with cool stuff. I mean, aside from like, you know, a place like maybe Tradition where there's stuff being put up every other day there's something new,
Yes,
like around the heart there.
yeah. You know, I would like to say that there's so many up and coming spots. But for the most part, I am to the point where I do get invited by restaurants. So there's so much out there. But yes, Tradition is one of the fastest growing as far as restaurants, and there are so many things are opening. I mean, they are really trying. A lot of people are not fans of what they feel is happening to Tradition. But I think the plan was always set for
Yeah.
Tradition to big and crazy. I was telling somebody else, I think there's a stat, it's insane. There's like over 80,000 new homes in the process of being built in Tradition right now as we speak. So all the restaurants and everything, they are going to have to rise up. But Palm City and stuff, I've done a few reviews in Palm City, and I think that as I explore more and as I get invited more, I think that I am, really looking forward to definitely moving out of just the traditional Port St. Lucie, Fort Pierce, of course, Jensen, Stewart. I still love, like we spoke about last time, I love going up to Sebastian. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of good stuff there. But yeah, even in Palm City, and what's funny, I don't know if you're the Treasure Coast expert. Is Jupiter technically considered the Treasure Coast?
I mean, I think people, if you ask me personally, you know, people ask me that all the time, and I would
It
say,
kind of is.
yeah, I would say, you know, county line there in Tequesta,
Yeah.
where like I
Yeah.
mean, that county line is a pretty, you know, it's a it's the county line, but it also, you can feel it. It's different. But I usually say, I mean, we have a lot of people that follow us that are in like the Palm Beach Gardens, Abacoa, Juno Beach area. We have a
Yes.
large following there. But once you get south of that, once you get closer, once you get south of like Donald Ross Road, I would say you're certainly nowhere
Yeah.
near. It doesn't feel like Treasure Coast at all. Whereas if you go down,
Correct.
if you go down like Guanabanas or the Lighthouse, um,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of cross. I guess I don't know what the word would be. There's a lot of mixing and mingling
Crossover,
amongst
baby.
people who, yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this, for me, going down to Jupiter, whether we consider it, I still consider maybe there's a line, like you said, that kind of cuts off where in Jupiter. But I'm starting to get invited more often to go down to Jupiter, and I love the food scene in Jupiter. There's some really good stuff.
There
I
is,
got
yeah.
invited to, yeah, I got invited to this culinary masterpiece of a place called Hap and Hooch. It sounds hilarious. I did the review. That one went crazy too. They're known. It's so crazy to say. They're known as, they call themselves the 5-star dive bar because
That's pretty
their
cool.
culinary, it's crazy what they're bringing to some of their dishes is phenomenal. But when you walk in, it literally looks like, kind of a really cool, just a dive bar, very chill and low key. But the food, I put their smash burger as definitely one of the best burgers that you can get anywhere. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, burgers is another one that's tough. It's tough to
Yeah.
because you can't really get that right, or you can't. You can easily argue. Everyone's going to have different thoughts. I love a good smash burger.
Everybody. Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Where's your favorite smash burger? That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is tough. To be honest, I would hate to even like commit to one, and
All right.
I
Where's a great one?
one that I recently ate at. This was just a few days ago, and it's kind of top of mind. It's a seasonal offering. That's why I'm going to say it. And some people are not going to like this, but it's at Duffy's in downtown Stewart. I ordered it because I used to
Wow.
get their. Yeah, I was kind of
Yeah.
surprised at how good it was. It was a double smash burger, and it was delicious. It was really good.
Oh,
There was a place that used to
that's
be.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a place that used to be in Stewart. It was Hanger. It used to be where it was where the Crafted Keg was, and it became, I think, like Hanger 21 or something. It's something different now. I haven't been there since, but they had amazing burgers too before
Yeah.
they ended up changing hands.
Wow, that's cool. So
What about
yeah,
you?
burgers is one of those things, man. I'm still on the hunt. I would say my burger expedition is incomplete. On my group, I'm going to throw a little shout out to my group. I have a group called Baldy's Treasure Coast Reviews. And what we try to do, a couple months ago, we only had like 1,000 followers. We're now up to 9,000 local followers. And believe it or not, the only goal of Baldy's Treasure Coast Reviews, which is outside of Baldy, obviously. Baldy is on, it's a page, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Baldy Eats. But then we started a Facebook group that has been going crazy, and it's called Baldy's Treasure Coast Reviews. And we invite the community to submit their own reviews, and they take beautiful pictures and they give their opinion. And those go viral, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Sometimes
they do.
those posts from people get more views than my reviews sometimes, which is crazy. But it's awesome. I love what we're doing on there. But I think there's a place called Burger Daddy that's really killing it. He literally specializes in smash burgers. Again, I'm going to go down to, you know what? There's a brand new place in Tradition. Speaking of Tradition, it's called Southpaw Brewery. Southpaw Brewery. They
It's
just
new,
opened in
right?
Tradition.
Yeah, right.
brand new, just open, and they make a heck of a burger. All their food is actually really good. But Southpaw Brewery is doing it real big. They actually have a location in New York as well, surprisingly,
Oh,
but
no
they opened
kidding.
up in Tradition. But yeah, for me, my favorite, if we can consider it, go a little down to Jupiter. It's called Happen Hooch. That smash burger is insane. He does it perfect and simple. And I'm a big meat to bun ratio guy, but that one's perfect. But I'm still on the hunt. I'm still
Oh,
open
you know
to.
what,
I've had great burgers at a lot of places.
Baldy, I gotta say, this is a one. I thought of it as you were talking about the brewery.
Yeah,
Have you been to Piranha Pat's? They opened in Rio, kind of between like the Stuart Jensen area.
not yet.
They
We
opened
were in the
where,
process of setting that up.
yeah, they opened where Frankenstein's used to be, which is, but they have a great smash
Oh,
burger. They have good beers, great
oh,
burgers. That's a good one. And they're
love it.
the food is served where it's very kid friendly. You're not going to have like you might get a couple sliders, or they're big enough to where
Yeah,
um, you're going to be able to finish it, and the kids are going to be able to get something, and everyone's going to have a good time. That's a good
love
spot with
it.
a good
I
smash
haven't been
burger.
there yet. Yeah, I've heard a little bit about them. We were working with their marketing people, but it hasn't happened as of yet. So yeah,
Oh,
but
cool.
I'm
Maybe you'll
excited
make it
about
out
that.
there. Yeah, that's cool.
Absolutely,
What
absolutely.
do you have on your
You know
radar
what's
then? Like,
funny? Yeah,
no, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, believe it or not, I did a big promotion with Dave and Buster's, which is, you know what? It's right outside of Tradition. Yeah, right outside of Tradition. We did a cool video for them a couple months ago, and we're actually going to do something even bigger. But believe it or not, and people will say, "Oh, Baldy, you're full of crap." Dave and Buster's has some good burgers. They've
They
definitely
do.
stepped up their food game, and
Yeah.
they actually have a couple of really unique and good burgers. But I digress. Sorry, what was your question?
No, no, no. I'm glad you said that because you kind of had hooked me in. You go, what's funny? And I had interrupted you, so I'm glad you got in there. Um,
My bad.
I was just gonna see what you thought was kind of on your radar. I mean, and like, how do you necessarily decide? Is how are you gonna decide seasonally? Is there anything that you look at indifferently, or how do you plan? Because I'm sure obviously you got to have so many restaurants calling you, and you have to be balancing that with what you're
Yeah,
personally interested in, and you're balancing that with what you
yeah,
do for work already. So, like, what's on the
yeah.
radar? What does the next couple weeks or months look like?
Oh my gosh, man. You're absolutely right. I want to kind of explain my process. It started out as a hobby and it's blown into this amazing, passionate thing that I have a great relationships. It's no secret with me and the restaurants. Restaurants invite me on a daily basis. So at this point, for the most part, unless I do a very unique, impromptu, something really crazy, but yes, I do get invited by restaurants and I have to work it in my schedule because you are right. I run my own business. I've run my own granite business for many, many years. But when it comes to restaurants reaching out to me, I then have to make the decision and to kind of see, okay, where am I going to go next? But what's on the horizon? Okay, I got a couple of cool things. I also listen to the stories of what they tell me. And I love having conversations with restaurants even before I go out there because I want to learn
Yeah,
what are they dealing with? What are some of their struggles? What are they looking for? First of all, they got to know a little bit more about me, my process, how it works, and stuff like that. But there's an amazing Italian family that just opened up a spot in Jensen Beach called Do Fratelli's. Do, as in her two sons. She said Do is Italian, and they put all their passion, all their money into this up and coming place. It used to be a place that just closed down. It might have been called Casa Italiano or something like that. in Jensen. I'm sure the followers will know, but
Yeah.
so the funny story about them, and that's coming up. I already did the review. That one's up and coming. Her two sons were already packed and ready to go to college. And they were working in a restaurant. They were all ready to go. She was going to pay the tuition and everything. And one of the kids actually called their mom and said, "Listen, the place that I work at, mom, is ready to sell. And
No
I think
way.
I've always wanted to do a restaurant. I think we should do a restaurant. Cancel college for both kids, both sons, and boom, they started this place. Real authentic Italian food, amazing. They're doing like you. I think you said you like. They're doing more of like they're doing some Sicilian pizzas. They're doing a lot of different
Okay,
things,
yeah.
and the people that have already went there have said this place is legit. And yes, I did the review and it is legit. But yeah, I got so much stuff coming. There's a brand new restaurant
Oh, they're next to the
that
subway. They're next to the subway there.
I
I
think
was just
so.
looking them up. Yeah, or there was actually I used to own that subway. And so that's why it kind of popped in my head. There
Oh,
was a
really?
nice Italian restaurant there. Albert, I think, was his name.
There you.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Well,
Good
he
for
finally
them. I hope
sold.
they're wow, that's awesome.
Really crazy. Really
Oh,
crazy. So I'm
very
excited
cool.
about that. There's
Yeah.
also, yeah, there's also another food spot called JoJo's Kitchen that just
Yeah.
opened up. The guy is from Texas and oh, you heard of them?
Yeah, I have. At least I saw it on social media. I mean, posted
Yeah.
in the groups or something like that.
Yeah, so it's Tex-Mex and he's very passionate about it. So he brought a little bit of his culinary experience from Texas. And honestly, I've never been a big Tex-Mex guy, but really unique. They do some really good steak bowls and they do their own rendition of more of a Tex-Mex taco, stuff like that. So really, really good stuff. But yeah, that's a couple of things that I have coming out. Absolutely.
Yeah, Tex-Mex is a good one. I mean, a lot of it, that's the problem I think too with tacos, or when you start talking
Yeah.
about tacos or burritos, some people take it strictly. Some people like, street tacos. Some people like more Tex-Mex. Some people will take it to a totally different, like for me, I love good Cuban food. You're not really going to get like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be, it's kind of like you might be in like somewhere of the vicinity of it, but it's never, people can kind of
Right.
veer off to different areas of what they're interested in.
Yeah.
Which is good
Yes.
though. I mean, you can kind of pick out different flavors. It brings more to the table.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the great part about the Treasure Coast is that it is growing at such a rate. And of course, a lot of the old school people, they don't love that. But there are so many, and we spoke about this last time. There are so many restaurants and food trucks and people bringing their culinary experience from all parts of the country, whether it's South Florida, whether it's the East Coast, whether it's the Midwest, and they're really starting to make us a culinary destination wherever you live
Yeah.
in the Treasure Coast. And that is so exciting, and the growth is happening right before our eyes. So, yeah,
Yeah. I think having those different tastes and flavors is huge. I mean, we didn't really have a lot to pick from when I was a kid. I mean, granted, there wasn't much. I mean, you know,
right.
yeah, Becker Road was a dirt road, we, so it's like you didn't have, you didn't have a whole lot coming up, but being from,
Yeah,
being, even though you're from Newark, like you said, you're from South Florida basically. And so a lot
yes,
of those tastes, you've kind of come to have a different perspective on it, which is why I appreciate you. And I appreciate your group.
yeah.
We'll link to your group because it's cool. I see it. It always comes up. I'm in it. It comes up in my feed. Somebody will post in there, "Hey, I
Oh,
checked this place out. It was cool." But
that's
I will say
crazy.
we're not going to. I shared from one of the reviews I shared from treasurecoast.com into one of our groups, and
Yeah,
I have to look
yeah,
back on which one it was. It created like you have people just from different sides. Uh, Going back and
yeah.
forth. But I would encourage people to join the group and share what you think is relevant, because
Yeah.
I guarantee you, even if
Hey.
you're not going through the group, stuff will come up on your feed where you're going to be like, you will not know that this place exists. It'll spur something in
And
your
that, yeah.
imagination.
Yes, and that's what it's there for. Speaking on the group, you know, people, believe it or not, the members of the group are teaching me a ton about the Treasure Coast by some of the reviews that they're putting in, some stuff that I've never known even
Yeah.
existed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. So, yeah, that was always the goal of the group. We really wanted to become just a community of everyday foodies being able to post and be able to get a little bit of their own recognition. Wow, look at my meal, and they're taking beautiful photos of it and giving their honest opinion. And I think it's also helping some restaurants to step up their game a little, because knowing, hey, so anybody from the community might be coming in at any time. It doesn't just have to be Baldy or someone else, and
Yeah.
their review might be going on that page. So I think it just helps everyone to elevate their game, restaurants to do a little bit better, and no, listen, anybody that comes in taking photos, this might get aggregated to 100,000 people. And I'm not saying it's necessarily going to make or break the restaurant, but it could have an impact if someone
Yeah.
comes and says, "Oh, look at this." So
No, I think you're totally right. I mean, a simple thing like that, and with social media now, it can definitely lead to thousands of dollars. And for restaurants,
yeah,
we talked about this a little bit before, but you know, and people know this, I think, to some extent, but the restaurant industry does not have a very high success rate, and so to get out and to look at people and to give them the credit that they deserve, if they've got something that you like, or the service was great, or shopping somewhere that's a small business instead of not supporting something local. I mean, it can be the difference
yeah,
between keeping your dollars here and supporting somebody who deserves it, or not.
yeah,
And so
yes.
firsthand through a lot of your reviews and some of the events you put on. We were talking about the one at Downtown Benny's, which was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was fun. That was so much fun.
Yeah,
Absolutely. But one thing I want to say on that, the restaurant business is one of the most toughest and grueling industries out there. The profit margins are extremely low, and people don't understand. Sometimes they go to a place and they get a $17 burger or whatever, $16 burger, and they don't understand that these places are not trying to be greedy necessarily. They're really just trying to give you a great quality product. They don't want to cut the quality, and they want to give you an experience that you're really going to enjoy. So people need to try to understand that yes, okay, if you can't necessarily afford to eat at a mom and pop, I mean, I understand that. That's fine. But when you're supporting these restaurants, try to understand that their margins are already tiny. These guys are not, for the most part, making a boatload off of their restaurant. They're really opening up a restaurant to showcase their talent and hopefully create a job for themselves that lasts and
yeah,
stands the test of time, being self-employed. But yeah, the restaurant industry is a very tough industry, and it's a dog eat dog world. And everybody thinks that just because you own a restaurant, you must be doing great or you must be doing good. But it goes back to what you said. What I really have a passion for is working with these restaurants to really help them to showcase their food to the public in the best way forward. And some people get on me, they're like, Baldy, if you just snuck in there or walked in and didn't tell them, then you'll be able to kind of try it like us. And yes, I see what you're saying with that. But I also want to work with them to pick their, top one or two items, have them serve it to
yeah,
me, and really showcase it to people. And I have conversations with them all the time. I say, listen, you gave me this. This looks amazing. But in order to stay consistent and in order to continue to do great, you're going to have to replicate the way you serve me and hopefully do it to all of your customers. Otherwise, you're just going to be another restaurant that unfortunately has to close its doors. So,
Yeah, and that's, you know, that kind of is what it is. You know, they're not gonna, if there are, let's say, bad intentions, and they're gonna say we'll put on a great show for Baldy. I mean, that's not going to be a sustainable thing. You know, people are going to go in, they're going to be disappointed, and you know that's not going to work. So you know, I get that. I think that's probably a
yeah,
good move to where, you know, you're getting, you know, the items that they think are the best and that are worth showcasing. You know, it's a
yeah,
balance because they can pick, hey, these are
yeah,
some of the dishes that we're most proud of or that we really like. And you can
yes,
think, well, hey, look, this is something that I think would really resonate with the people out there. And so it's a meeting that
yeah,
really you might not always get if you're just going in for a quick lunch and you know you order, you know, during a busy lunch rush or something like that. So I think that's a good
yeah.
perspective.
100%. And I don't know, I think that for the most part, the community really enjoys and has embraced me as one of their own, and understanding that, yes, I have an amazing relationship with a lot of these restaurants, and I want to see them succeed. And they are bringing me out, whether it's a time of need or whether it's a grand opening or whatever it is. But the people that watch me, I have a very, very deep love and respect, and understand that it is a very, big, I owe them the honesty of being honest and open about what I'm trying, because it is a fine line of representing and helping a restaurant, but it's also very important that I stay true and consistent to the people watching. And I have conversations with the restaurant all the time, and I tell them flat out, consistency is number one. That is the name of any game, and being, great at what you do. And you could bring me in, like you just said, if you could bring me in, we can have a great time. We can enjoy your food that you came in. But if you can't serve everybody else this level of quality, then your days are numbered. So,
Yeah. What are your, is there anything that you want to see opening up? I mean, we had talked about how much is exploding and the diversity that's coming up from different
yeah.
areas. Is there anything that you think isn't really represented well here? Because I think we talked about a few things on the last podcast, but I don't know if there's anything top of mind right
Yeah.
now.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be controversial. I think the steakhouse game needs to be elevated.
Okay, yeah. You like a fine
I'll be a little
steakhouse?
controversial. Are you ready to get in the nitty gritty, Josh?
Yeah, no, I am. I'm interested to hear what you have to say on that. I really am.
The the steakhouse game is not represented at all in the Treasure
Mm,
Coast. There's one spot, I'm going to give you one asterisk. There's a couple that I heard are good that I haven't been to yet. One is called the Fort.
okay,
One
yeah,
is called the Fort. I think they're are they at Fort Pierce? Yeah, the Fort.
yeah, I believe so.
they're they're an upscale steakhouse. I have not been there yet, so I cannot speak on them yet. In fact, I had a great conversation with the general manager, and we're still trying to figure out something that we can do. The owners have been just a little bit apprehensive about bringing in a food reviewer to showcase it. They want to make sure everything's good. Um, the Ford is one. Meeting Street in Tradition, I've seen so much posted on them and a lot of issues and problems that they're having. And they have so much potential. And I hate to say it, but I'm going to be honest. The Meeting Street needs to figure out a way that they can elevate what they're serving to the people to match the building, because I think it's a beautiful building. And I
Yeah, it
think
is
that
a great ambiance.
great ambiance, such a nice building, and it's such a great opportunity where, in my opinion, there'll always be a place that stays popular because people are always going to be willing to try it out at least once. And it is such a nice building, and I think they have a lot of potential, but they have to revamp what they're doing there, a lot of the food quality and stuff like that. You have them. You have Oak and Ember. That's okay. I've
Yeah,
tried them out. Not bad. But as of now, I don't know if you've heard about this. You're more of a Southern Treasure Coast guy.
I was gonna say,
Okay,
yeah.
this one I'm excited about, and maybe the followers, your followers or my followers will know. There's a place that just opened, I believe, I might be correct, someone correct me, maybe a year ago, called Peter's Steakhouse.
I was just gonna say
I
Peters. Yeah, they've been around for a while actually.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. They're in Jensen, and I
Yeah.
heard through the grapevine, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know everything. I would gladly admit if I'm wrong. He worked for Peter Luger's in New York for many, many years and then wanted to take the Peter Luger style and bring it down to the Treasure Coast. So I can't speak on them yet. I have
Ah.
not tried it. And hello, Peters. Hit me up, baby. I would love to try
I,
your food.
I gotta tell you, like Peters, if you have not been to Peters, it is a
Yeah,
different. You have not had a steak like that. I
love it.
guarantee it is
Okay.
delicious. Do not. I mean, I'll tell
Okay.
you what. Don't forget your wallet. You might have to take out a home equity loan. It's expensive, but I mean, dude, it is pricey. But dude, it's unbelievable. You go in, the ambiance is really cool, really different. You're in an old Jensen
Oh,
Beach
okay.
cottage style. It's almost like I almost feel like a
Yeah.
German setting, German cottage setting. But the steak is
Yeah.
unbelievable. They have a la carte sides, which are delicious. The fort is
Ooh.
I've heard is good. They're downtown Fort
Okay.
Pierce. Um, yeah,
Okay.
I mean, aside from that, I was gonna say, a lot of the Kyle G's stuff. See, the steaks have been good when I've been there, but um, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like a fine dining steak. It's not like it's really not
Listen.
something that's been popular here.
Yeah. Listen, if I'm going to be honest and open about my opinions with everything, then I can't be afraid. And listen, I would never. What Kyle G's has done for this community and the level of restaurants that he opens up, I think, I don't have anything bad to say about him, but if I'm going to be honest about normal mom and pop restaurants, I have to be willing to say the truth when it comes to me and my opinion. I have I've never reviewed Oak and Ember.
Hmm.
I've eaten there before I started doing my reviews, and don't get me wrong, I think it was good. I think it was good. I'm not saying anything bad, but as far as that next level, top tier, phenomenal steakhouse, when you ask me, is there room for growth and improvement? My honest answer in that category would be yes, absolutely. Until my answer is incomplete, until I try the fort and until I try Peters, my answer then would have to be adjusted to incomplete
You,
because, like you said, I've heard a lot about Peters being phenomenal.
it is. There's a place up in Vero called Vero Prime. I haven't eaten there,
Mm.
but I've people in
I
our
haven't
our
even
Vero
heard of that.
Beach group. Yeah, it's. I could be totally butchering this, no pun intended. But I think it's I I think it's
I like that.
like yeah, right. I don't know. It fell into my lap. There we go. I'm pretty sure they're like dry aged. I don't know. I would
Yeah.
look it up, but it gets huge reviews. I'm not sure. Again, I haven't been there, so I can't really speak to it. But it is a steakhouse, Vero Prime. I've heard good
Ooh,
things,
okay.
but you can
Yeah.
always
And
use a
I'm sure
good
there are a couple other. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple here and there, but that's a fun conversation. I love that conversation. What are we
Hmm.
under represented of in the Treasure Coast? I have we're out of time pretty much though, aren't we?
Oh yeah, we're at 45 minutes. Yeah, we could do.
My
I mean,
bad.
we could do
Can
another
I
one.
say
We
one
could.
more?
Yeah, please, please, yeah.
I'm gonna say one more thing that is gonna be hilarious, and people might try to physically attack me. Do you know what still needs to be elevated? Do you know what still needs to be elevated? And I think there's
Well,
room for
let's
improvement. I
hear it.
think you know what I'm going to say.
Let's hear it. I think I do, but
Pizza.
I thought you were gonna say that after we were talking about the top 5. That was one of the things that was in my mind.
Yeah. There's still
Yeah.
room for growth. There's always room for more. Now, I would never say out with the old and in with the new. No. Because if you're a staple in the community and you're doing a great job, you deserve to be here. But one thing that Miami has stepped up with, and even I've heard a ton of some of the places, even in Palm Beach, there's like Death by Pizza. There's another place that's coming out that's going to be open in the Treasure Coast. People have been excited about it for like a year or two. And I think it's called A Pete's. I think the place is literally called A Pete's. They have 1 or 2 locations already down south. I think they got one in Del Rey.
In Puerto
It
Rico?
is opening in PSL, so I'm excited about that. That should elevate the game a little bit. But yeah, I still think pizza has room for growth. I'll say it as nice as I can. So,
well, I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. Pizza is one of the only segments where you can literally have a pizza shop on every block. I mean, pizza owners are not going to agree with me because I'm sure they would like to be the only one in town. But I mean, you can have 10 pizza shops in like a 5-mile radius and they're all killing it.
Technically.
So, I mean, and they have different flavors. You could have one that's more traditional, more, I guess you'd call it commercial, one that's, we're talking about Sicilian. We'll go from Ian and Kai's to Carmela's to any different style that we want, depending on if we want something thin or Sicilian or however you want to go about it. So.
Absolutely. There's so many options. There's so many ways. And I think pizza has really become the family communal type food. I mean, if you remember, probably maybe the 90s, even though it still happens now, you go to Blockbuster, you grab a pizza, and then you come home and you watch that Friday night movie. So,
for sure.
But pizza is ingrained in our DNA. We're very passionate about pizza. But yeah, pizza will always be the thing that everybody thinks they know, or they have their favorite, or they're willing to fight for. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. And Baldy, I appreciate you being on, man. It's always fun talking to you. It's always great to get your perspective on things. And I hope that people watching will put some links to your page and to your group, and hopefully people will go on and watch it, and hopefully people will share it themselves to our groups. Because I personally, if we share it now, I don't want to create like some sort of, argument about, hey, what pizza or this or that. But if people want to share it, that's great. I would appreciate it. Cool.
I really appreciate it. And I'm going to leave it on this note. Since we're already being controversial, and this is maybe the pizza places are going to hate me. Here we go. You ready? I'm going to end it for all the followers and watchers. The second a pizza leaves the store, jumps in the car, and arrives at my home, it loses 2 points right off the bat. Pizza that travels is no longer the same score that I eat it right when it was given to me, taken out of the box.
Oh, sure.
So take that one, what you will, Treasure Coast.
Yeah.
Don't at me that you tried a pizza place that I tried and gave it an 8.2 and had it delivered to your house. And it took 25 minutes for the pizza to get there. And then say, Baldy, you're an idiot. That's not an 8.2. That's a 5.2. No, duh. It loses 2 points when it's delivered.
I was going to say, I had it for breakfast 3 days after I ordered it. It was not an 8.6. I don't know what.
And what he's an idiot. He doesn't know pizza. He needs to go back wherever he comes from.
Baldy, I appreciate you, man. Thanks, and we'll talk soon. Anything we can do, I'm always here, and I'm happy to support you, and I'm happy to talk to you.
Love it. And guess what? I'm going to hold you to being in one of my pizza reviews soon.
I would love it. Let's do it, man. You let me know. Let's make it happen.
That's a wrap for this episode of The Current by TreasureCoast.com. If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Follow us on social media or visit treasurecoast.com for local events, tips, and news. Have a guest or topic you'd love to hear on the show? Let us know at treasurecoast.com. Until next time, keep riding the current and enjoying everything